Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to Alma Scots Basketball live on Q104.9 WQBX with live video streaming at almascots.com. Tonight, live from the Art Smith Arena, it's a big MIAA doubleheader between the Alma Scots and the Calvin Knights. We'll get things started off in the women's game, a big one here. I'm Jeff Somerville, Craig Compton alongside as we welcome you into the Mercantile Bank Scots pregame show. And Craig, Alma comes in 6-5 in league play, tied for that fourth spot with Albion. Top four get home games. The top, or seeds number 3 and 4 get home games. Top 2 get buys in that MIAA tournament. Calvin is in one of those positions right now. They're tied for second, 8-3 overall in the conference, with the Trine Thunder along with them. So they've got a couple games in hand on the Scots and Albion. Scots need a big win at home tonight. What can we expect out there?
Yeah, these two teams faced off before the winter break back in December, and a game that ended up being a 7-point game. Alma came out of the gates pretty sluggish, shot just 11% in that first quarter, and from there on out it was pretty evenly matched. Calvin outscored them in the third, Alma outscored Calvin in the fourth. It kind of went back and forth from there, so Alma definitely, especially being on their home court, want to come out swinging tonight. Slow
starts have been a problem for the Scots. They trailed on Saturday at Albion 21-7 at the end of the first quarter and played that game evenly after that, losing by 17, 68-51, and that was a big loss for them. If they had gotten the win, they would have been 2 games up for that fourth spot. With the loss, they find themselves tied for the fourth spot. Albion actually holds the tiebreaker over them by way of their win over Trine. If you beat that tiebreaker, if you split your matchups during the regular season, is whatever the higher seeded team you've beaten is, you will break the tiebreaker. So right now, Albion has that over Alma by way of their win over Trine. Alma could put themselves in position for that with a win over Calvin here today, who holds the tiebreaker over Trine. So a lot of things.
Well, I was going to say Alma's double overtime loss to Hope just a couple weeks ago would have been real nice to get that win. But Calvin also took them right to the wire just this past Saturday. So.
Yeah. Calvin has beaten Trine 63-51 2 games back a week ago Wednesday, and then lost to Hope 60-57 on Saturday. And Calvin doing all of that without their leading scorer for the season, Emma Whitty. She averaged 12.1 points per game, but is out. And stepping up in her place has been sophomore Anna Fernandez. Fernandez has been fantastic recently, and she's raised that season scoring average up to 5.6 points per game, but expect to see her up in double figures. Calvin now led by the sophomore out of Ludington High School, Ryan Rohrer, who was great back in her career for the O's and has seen her minutes increase exponentially this year. She came off the bench last year as a freshman, started all 20 games so far this season, and has played by far the most minutes on this Knights team, averaging 25.1 minutes per game. They spread the minutes around pretty evenly, but Rohrer plays the most of all Knights, and she will be in the middle. Does all the things well, 10.5 points per game, 7.5 rebounds per game. She's blocked 15 shots as well. We're going to pause right now for the national anthem. Back with the opening tip-off right after this. An excellent rendition of the national anthem by one of our Alma College students here, and we are just about ready for the introduction of the starting lineups and then that opening tip-off. Get those starters for you here. For the Scots, it will be what has become the regular starting lineup. They'll go with Maddie Robbins, along with the freshmen Molly Derlew, Brooke LaRue, Taylor Sass, and Brecken Werner in the middle. Over on the Calvin side of things, it'll be sophomore Sammy DeKuyper, along with Anna Fernandez, who we talked about earlier, Valerie Dirksey, Caitlin LaRue, and then Ryan Rohrer in the middle. For the Knights, and Craig, you said it already in the pregame, but Alma's got to get off to a faster start than what they did against Calvin in the first game and what they did in their last matchup when they took on Albion.
Yeah, it's kind of been a little bit of a theme for the Scots this year, and even going back a little bit into last year, which is weird because historically we've seen Coach Stormont teams come out firing, especially here at home, and really clicking on all cylinders, starting on the defensive end. They're diving on every loose ball. They're going after every rebound, and that sparks their offense. So that's what they need to do here early in this game is get a couple stops, get a couple good rebounds, and then look to run and push that pressure.
Love to see Taylor Sass get going early. When that happens, it usually is a pretty good day for the Scots. A lot of teams obviously focus on her extensively early on, and then it takes her a while to get things going. Sass averaging 17.1 points per game. Brooke LaRue at 10.4 for the Scots, the two leading scorers. And just about ready for basketball here. The two teams in the huddle. Coach Stormont out with her starting five all alone out there for the Knights, who are coached by Mark Christner.
You talk about getting Taylor Sass going, and really the difference for the Scots this year offensively is when they get stagnant, they don't put up a lot of points. And if they keep that ball moving, they keep moving without the basketball, opening each other up, that's when they start putting it in there.
It'll be Werner to jump it up against Rohrer. Ten minutes on the first quarter clock, and we're underway. Rohrer wins the tap back. They'll hand it to DeKuyper. Moves to her left, leaves it for Rohrer. Out right wing, LaRue. Over for Dirksey. Fernandez, little jumper from the left elbow is no good. Rebound Rohrer. Back out. Triggering a three is DeKuyper. No, Fernandez the rebound. Three chances here early on. Little left-handed hook shot up and good from Valerie Dirksey. Too many opportunities for Calvin to start the game.
That's exactly what I just talked about, is getting those boards and limiting how many shots they can put up.
Clear out for Robbins on possession number one. Good defense that time by DeKuyper. And Rohrer will bring it the other way. Rohrer perfectly capable of handling the basketball. Goes to the left hand, and they're going to say she was fouled. So Ryan Rohrer will go to the line to shoot two. Foul's going to be on Werner. Not the start the Scots wanted. Rohrer, not a high percentage foul shooter at just 50.7%.
Oh, but that was a good read for her to get the defender on her hip and just take it all the way to the rack.
First one long. But yeah, like we said, Rohrer perfectly capable as a ball handler. Second one from Ryan is good. Make it 3-0 Calvin here in the first minute. Robbins with it for the Scots, working on DeKuyper. And go to LaRue, swing it left wing, Derlew, inside Robbins. Robbins finds Sass open on the wing. Sass gets the defender in the air, drives in. Count that one, and the foul on Rohrer. That's nice inside-out basketball right there.
Yeah, just good patience from Maddie Robbins to scan the floor, not panic down low. Found the open Taylor Sass on the backside, and anytime you do that, it's usually going to lead to good things, whether she pulls up and hits the three or she drives it in through the contact.
Sass's foul shot ties the game at 3. Here comes DeKuyper with it. Goes behind the back, leaves it off for Dirksey. Look back to DeKuyper, couldn't find her, goes to Fernandez instead. Fernandez drives to the right, leaves it out for LaRue. LaRue drives in, but she traveled with it first, and that's going to get the Scots bench up, and into the ball game.
Just going to say, I think Alma can dial up the on-ball pressure a little bit more. Derlou was about the only one that was up pressuring, caused the turnover.
Full court pressure from DeKuyper, and Robbins just goes right past her, breaks the pressure to Sass for LaRue. LaRue out to Derlou on the left wing. Up top for LaRue, right wing, Robbins, cross court, Sass. Tried to get the defender into the air again, didn't. Goes baseline instead. LaRue up and under. Looked like she got fouled. They didn't call it. Scramble for the rebound on the floor, and they're going to call a foul on LaRue or out of bounds on LaRue?
Her foot was out of bounds as she was laying there grabbing at it. The whistle kind of came a little late, like it was going to be a foul, but
Warner checks out. Maddie Weber in.
I thought that was good ball movement from the Scots, moving them from side to side, and just didn't get the bucket to go.
Full court pressure from the Scots here. They're going to trap DeKuyper. Going to have to get rid of it to Fernandez. Fernandez is trapped, has it stolen away by Robbins for LaRue. LaRue kickback. Robbins wants LaRue in the corner. Brooke for three. Ring it up. Scott's showing some pressure that we really haven't seen a whole lot of this season.
I was going to say, how's that for on-ball pressure as they dial up the full court press? Fernandez
will break the pressure one-on-one against LaRue this time. Hand it off to LaRue. Driving in. Picks up the dribble. Goes out. Fernandez thought about a three. Going to drive instead over LaRue. That's up and nice good. Finish.
Dribbled in through the defenders and laid it in.
Sass back the other way for the Scots. Leaves it off for Weber. They'll reset. Brooke LaRue with it. Has Caitlin LaRue on her. No relation, not even the same spelling of those last names. And an up and under layup from Taylor Sass.
Well, they've got her going early here. 5 points.
That they do. Fernandez coast to coast on Sass, and Taylor's going to have to foul her. Not very good transition defense that time from the Scots. Send Anna Fernandez to the line. Couple of substitutions coming in. Chloe Wiegers into the ball game. And then Hannah Saul, the 6'1 freshman, daughter of men's basketball coach Bill Saul. Fernandez, foul shot up and good. First on the night for Anna Fernandez. Makes it 8-6 Alma. Second one also good. That gives Fernandez 4 on the night, actually. Make it 8-7. Robbins with it. Has Wiegers on her. Right wing Sass. Up top for Derlou. Left wing extended for Brooke LaRue. Weber with it. Leaves it off for Derlou. 10 on the shot clock. Out for Maddie Weber. Weber drives to her left for Sass. Sass gonna go back to Weber with 3 on the shot clock. She's gonna have to create, goes up, under, puts it up and just off the right side of the rim. Good effort from Weber, couldn't get it to go. And here comes LaRue back the other way, stops, pops a mid-range jumper, no. Rebound, Derlou. Derlou wanted the outlet to Sass, couldn't get it to her. Taylor's got it now. She's gonna drive in, puts it up, and is gonna be fouled by Saul. She'll go to the line for 2.
There was some contact before the shot.
There was.
She drove past the defender and got her belt held onto.
Lauren Vanderstelt checks in, another 6'1" player for the Knights. Warner checks back in for the Scots. Hannah Saul, the freshman, a fabulous shot blocker. She's already blocked 48 of them this season. Shot up and good from Sass. Second one for Taylor, also good. Give her an early 7. She'll sit down. Reagan Thor will check in. Oh, not expecting to try to break the pressure there were the Knights, but they get away with it to Fernandez. Fernandez back for Dirksey. Dirksey into the corner. Wiegers. Saul drives in with the left hand, no. Goes up over the top of Warner to get the rebound, but Brecken takes it away. Back come the Scots the other way with Robbins. Robbins coast to coast, goes past Saul, gets fouled. That'll be 2 on Hannah. And that's probably going to get Ryan Rohrer back up off the bench. It does. In addition, it's going to get Sophie Sensening up off the bench, too. Yet another 6'1 player at the Knights' disposal. They've got plenty of size.
Keep recycling them here.
Robbins to inbound. Goes in for LaRue in the paint. Spins, goes to the right hand, up off the window, and scores. Brooke LaRue. Timeout called by Mark Christner. It's a 30-second timeout. 12-7 Scots in the early going. Back after this. Good start to the first quarter here for the Alma Scots. They lead at 12-7, 5:53 to go in the first. Calvin forced to call a timeout. Alma backs that press off now, and Wiegers will bring it up. She'll be picked up by Robbins at the arc. Goes for Rohrer. Rohrer at the right elbow. Tried to put it on the ground, traveled with it beforehand. I don't think Rohrer was happy with the movement from her Knights teammates there.
No, I thought that was pretty good defense there from Brecken Warner to just stay straight up.
Warner with it out on the left wing. Hands it to LaRue. LaRue to Durlou. Molly tries to drive, gets cut off. Backs it out, 10 on the shot clock. Warner with it at the free throw line, backs down. Left hand, right hand, back out. Robbins for three, no. And Rohrer gets the long rebound. Rohrer out, right wing Wiegers. Back inside for Rohrer. Rohrer, kick out, Sensening to the free throw line, goes to her right, has her shot blocked, and Sensening's going to get called for a charge as well.
I thought Reagan Thor slid over in time. I thought she was going to bail her out when she kind of left her feet a little bit, but able to get the charge called.
Meg Leslie, Taylor Sass, and Taylor Cleveland all up off the bench for the Scots. Full court pressure now from Wiegers on Cleveland, who will run the point. Taylor going to give it back to Sass and let Sass run the point here. Sass to the right, Sass all the way to the rack, put it up and good. That was not good defense that time from the Knights.
They can't guard her right now, and she knows that, and that's a scary position to be as a defense.
14-7 Scots. Fernandez with it, works on Thor, goes off a high screen. Out for Rohrer. Ryan going to drive to her left. Fernandez, left side, three, no good. Rebound's going to be tapped out of bounds by Sass. It came long to Sensening. Weber back for the Scots. LaRue back for the Knights.
Almost doing a good job, help defense right now. Maybe sliding just a hair too much, but they haven't gotten burnt yet.
Calvin looking to inbound it. They get it in for an open look at three. In and out, no good. Rebound comes to Vanderstadt. Vanderstadt, a baseline jumper, got it. 14-9. They'll get it in long to Cleveland, back to Sass. Sass will bring it across the timeline. Vanderstadt looks for help, doesn't get it. Leslie. Back out, Sass, right wing, three, ring it up. Taylor Sass with 12.
They've switched the defense a little bit there. Get Vanderstelt out on Taylor Sass and use those long arms. Didn't even matter right there. She just went over top of it.
17-9 Scott, Sass with 12. On the floor goes Wiegers, drives in. It's going to be poked out of bounds. Robbins and LaRue back. Cleveland and Leslie sit down.
When Taylor Sass is playing with the confidence she's playing with right now, Alma's a tough team to beat.
Yeah. Wiegers to inbound from under her own basket. Look to get it in. Goes in again to LaRue. LaRue backs it out. Vanderstelt to her right. Rohrer with a jumper is good from about 18 feet. Ryan Rohrer, her first two. 17-11, Scots on top here. 3:13 to go still in the first quarter. LaRue, oh, they're going to say she traveled with it. That's quick trigger on the travel.
That's quick.
She saw an opening to the basket. Tried to take it. Wiegers continues to run the point. Goes to Rohr. Hands right back to Wiegers, who puts on acceleration up off the high glass and good. Nice play by Wiegers.
Almost let up on the intensity just a little bit.
Yep.
Can't afford to do that.
Thor with it for the Scots. Goes for Sass. Sass going to drive in. Tries to go back for Thor, who wasn't looking for it. They're going to say probably off Sass, I would think, and it is.
Yeah. Crowd doesn't like it.
Dirksey checks back in along with De Kuiper. Wiegers sits down, as does Sensening. Full court pressure back now from the Scots. Rohr going to bring it up herself. Ryan working on LaRue into the corner. Vanderstelt thought about a three, didn't take it. They go instead out for De Kuiper. De Kuiper dribbling to her left, uses the offhand to get some room, has to pass it back out. LaRue in the corner. LaRue drives. LaRue tries to go over Robbins, can't get it. Shot up, no good. Brooke LaRue the rebound. For Robbins. Scott's on the move here. Robbins stops, pops just a little bit too long, tips the rebound out, but she committed a foul in doing so. And Sass hits a three after it that would have been a big one.
Yeah, Maddie just a little too out of control on the rebound there, just trying to tip it out to Sass.
Derlew checks back in. Sass will sit down.
Tell you what, Kelvin's going to get called for one of these off arms because it's been happening this whole first
They
quarter.
are using them, that's for sure.
Just about every player, I don't feel like they're confident dribbling the ball right now. They're just trying to create space.
Thor takes it away in the backcourt, lays it up and good. Reagan Thor with a steal and a two. Calvin is not liking this press.
No, they don't like the pressure. That's
Scots
what I said
have the
right
trap
away.
on again right here. They get it out of there. LaRue wants to take it all by herself. And that's 10 right there. Shot clock says it. A 10-second violation, and the Scots press has caused a timeout to be called by Kelvin. It's a full timeout. 19-13, Scots on top. Back after this. Minute 49 to go in the first quarter. Alma 19, Kelvin 13, and the Scots pressure causing fits for the Knights, forcing the second timeout to be taken by Kelvin.
Tell you what, nobody was more pumped up than Coach Stormont at that timeout break. Right out on the court, giving high fives.
Weber with it, goes left wing. Thor looks inside for LaRue, back to Weber instead. Hands it to Derlew. Derlew looks to make something happen into the corner for LaRue. Drives baseline, leaves it off.
Good
Weber
dump
puts
off.
it up and in. Nice pass. LaRue to Weber.
Really good vision to see the player right in the middle of the lane. Weber able to convert it.
Rohr with it up top. Works on Weber. Hands it back off for LaRue. Out for Vanderstelt. Vanderstelt gets to the free throw line. Jumper up a little bit long, but got it. Got the shooter's bounce there. 21-15.
Vanderstelt's done some nice things offensively so far.
I agree with that, definitely.
A nice shot.
Inside Robbins. Outside Weber for three. Just short.
Came out a little flat. Rushed it maybe just a hair.
De Kuiper for Rohr. LaRue puts it on the floor out on the right wing. Going to drive to the free throw line. Back out Rohr. Rohr tries to go by Weber. Weber gets back in position. Miss from Rohr. Rebound Weber. Here comes Robbins in a hurry. Got Derlew on the right. Gets cut off by Vanderstelt. Into the corner, Thor drives, back for Weber. Up top, Robbins, who will reset with 15 on the shot clock, 22 on the game clock. Rohrer takes a swipe at the ball. Robbins has got to go back and corral it, 7 on the shot clock. Robbins with a blow-by to the rack. She'll get herself to the line as a blocking foul is going to be called on to Kuiper.
Kuiper a little slow to get up there. Looked like maybe hit her head on the floor.
Yeah, hit the back of her head on the floor.
Pretty hard.
3 subs here for Calvin. It'll be Lydia Saul into the game, along with Anna Fernandez back in.
I was going to say, on the last time down, I almost got Rohrer a little flustered right now.
They do.
You could see
They do.
She drove in there. She kind of forced that shot up. And
Wiegers came back in as well.
Hasn't been able to get anything going so far.
No, you're right, 100%. First shot up and good from Robbins.
But, I mean, that's what we talked about in the pregame, is almost starting on that defensive end and getting all the momentum down there, and that's what they've done so far in this one.
Robbins looks for the second, takes a long look in and out, no good. Ball tapped out of bounds, and it's going to stay with the Scots. LaRue contesting the rebound. 11.5 seconds left. Cleveland checks in for the Scots. 22-15. A big offensive first quarter from Alma here. Into Derlew, 10 seconds. Derlew drives right to LaRue. Cross court, Cleveland. Leslie with it. Leslie fires a pass underneath for Weber, who had it go off her hands out of bounds. Oh, that was a nice pass.
Yeah, she wanted that, and had it converted, they would have gotten 2. They would have been able to get the shot off.
That's going to do it for the first quarter of play. So our score at the end of 1, Alma 22, Calvin 15. Back for the second after this. Back at Art Smith Arena, ready to start the second quarter, 22-15. Scots at the end of 1. It'll be Robbins, LaRue, Sass, Werner, and Leslie for the Scots. Dirksey, Wiegers, Lydia Saul, along with Fernandez and one other who I haven't picked up yet.
Be interesting.
LaRue, I believe.
See if Taylor Sass can keep things going after that hot start. Now sitting on the
Well,
bench
she
for a
fell
little bit.
down right there, so
Yeah,
that's
got
probably
tripped up
not
a little
good.
bit.
Sass has got it now out on the wing, going to drive to her right, stops, turns, fires a pass out for Leslie. It's going to be tipped into the Calvin bench. Alma will maintain possession.
We talked in that pregame show about Alma the first time playing Calvin, shot 11% in the first quarter, shot 57% in the first quarter tonight.
Oh, that's a bit better.
Big difference.
Robbins goes off a Werner screen, stop, starts again. Leslie, corner 3, quick trigger, just off. Rebound tapped out by Werner. Sass has got it.
She didn't get much of that, but got just enough to tip it out to Sass.
Certainly didn't get all of it. Sass is going to turn it over, though, and here comes Wiegers in a hurry the other way. Wiegers stops. Going to kick it out. Fernandez drives in, goes past 2, goes past 3, lays it up. No. Rebound out of bounds off of Calvin, they're going to say. So the Scots get a stop.
They didn't get the bucket to fall there, but that's where Alma's gotten beat a couple times tonight. They've over-pursued just a little too much. They've helped out just a little too much. Had 3 defenders down on the ball there.
Werner with it, looks inside for Sass, goes inside for Sass. One-on-one, kick out LaRue. LaRue off of a Sass screen on the inside. Brooks stuck in the lane now. Got to get out. Sass open for three. Not really open, but she triggered it anyway. Just short. And Wiegers comes away with it for Calvin. Wiegers calls out a play out on the right wing. Up top, Lydia Saul for Fernandez. Dirksey. Wiegers back into Dirksey. Out for Fernandez, 10 on the shot clock. Fernandez to LaRue. In. Lydia Saul, 4 on the shot clock. She's going to have to pop from the wing, and she hits it. Nice little shot from Lydia Saul there.
Just kind of a last second, flipped it up there, and that was a no-doubter.
Now, Lydia only averages 2 points per game. Hannah Saul having the bigger freshman season, but that one looked pretty good right there. 22-17 Scots. Leslie picks up the dribble out for Sass to Robbins. Robbins tries to drive in, cut off with 9 on the shot clock. 7 on the shot clock to LaRue. LaRue inside, Werner with 3 on the shot clock. Drop step, up with the right hand, just too strong. Saul the rebound.
Pretty good move, though, to get the defender on her hip.
Wiegers late on the pass, and it's going to be tapped out of bounds by LaRue. She had Caitlin LaRue wide open. Weber, Derlew, Thor check in for the Scots. Rohrer, Sally Merrill checking in for Calvin. And it'll be Wiegers with it against Robbins. For Rohrer. Merrill with it now. Merrill going to put it on the floor with the left hand for Wiegers. Wiegers works on Derlew. Out. Merrill for 3. Little liner, no good. Derlew the rebound. Derlew, an outlet to Robbins, just too long. Robbins saves it somehow, though. Out to Sass, thought about an NBA 3. Drives in instead, gets fouled by Saul. She'll shoot 2. What a save by Maddie Robbins.
Yeah, that whole transition right there. I mean, she threw it behind her back and went off the Kelvin defender's knee and right out to, I don't know who it was out on the wing, but.
I thought the play was over, to be honest with you. I thought Robbins could never get to that ball.
Yeah, Derlew threw it out there quite a ways. It got tipped also. That didn't help the Scots at all. Kind of got tipped to the baseline. Robbins went all out for it.
Sass misses the first foul shot. Second one up and good. That's the first points for the Scots of this second quarter after 22 in the first. Hannah Saul will check back in. She picked up 2 quick fouls. Lydia sits down.
That's one that doesn't show up in the stat book, too. Should have been a turnover.
Good press break this time by Wiegers. Lays it down for Saul, who puts it in. Much better press break from Calvin that time.
Yeah, Alma didn't close the door over on the sideline. Let her dribble right up the side. Got to get a foot out of bounds.
Robbins with it to Sass. Sass wing 3 on Rohrer. Just a little bit long. And the rebound comes away to the Knights. Fernandez speeds up the right side. For Wiegers. Rohrer will set things for Calvin. Out Fernandez, and she just got a little careless with it over in the corner and shuffled her feet.
The second time over in that corner for Calvin.
Yeah, that gets Caitlin LaRue up off the bench. Fernandez sits down. 23-19 Alma, 6:33 to go. Both offenses have been stagnant here in the second quarter. A 4-1 advantage for Calvin in the quarter. Thor with it, goes inside for Sass, going to drive and be fouled on the floor by Calvin. The foul is going to go against Ryan Rohrer, and that's her second. So 2 on Hannah Saul, 2 on Ryan Rohrer. Sass sits down, LaRue checks in. Robbins to inbound.
That could be a big impact going forward in this game. We'll see how
they get it to LaRue, and Brooke traveled with it. She kind of forgot to dribble. Might have got hit as she went to put it on the floor. I'm not sure.
I thought she got hit a little bit, but not enough.
No. Wiegers calls out a play, goes to Rohrer, who hands it off. Back up for Wiegers. Wiegers driving in on Weber. Cross court, Merrill. Merrill had to tiptoe to stay in bounds. Now into the corner, Wiegers. Up top, Merrill. Merrill leaves it off for LaRue. To Rohrer. And a foul is going to be called on Thor. First team foul, and the first on Thor. Uyghurs to inbound. They'll put 20 back on the shot clock. Get it in to LaRue. Step back three from the left wing for LaRue. No good. Weber the rebound. Strong board from Weber that time. Robbins speeds back the other way. Kick out. LaRue. Gonna drive on Rohrer. Goes to the left hand. Puts it up and scores. Knew that Ryan had the 2 fouls and took it right to the bucket. Did LaRue.
That's just a good read. She felt the defender on her hip, and instead of passing it off to the wing, she just took it right up.
Scots by 6. Warner, Sass, and Leslie all back to the scorer's table. Here comes LaRue. Has her shot blocked by Weber. Weber blocks another one. And this one up and no good. Foul's going to be on Thor. Hannah Saul's going to go to the line.
Thor with a couple tough fouls there.
Lydia Saul back to the scorer's table. Hannah Saul will be at the line. Hannah, a 54.3% free throw shooter. Lydia will wait at the scorer's table to check in for Hannah.
What I've gathered so far in this game is Kelvin wants to spread you out and run it around a little bit, and Alma has not allowed that. They've been the more physical team. If you're going to come in this lane, you're going to get hit, and you better be ready for it, whether you have the ball or not. And sometimes they get called on it, sometimes they don't get called on it. They're not taking any cheap shots, but that's what you got to do with a team like this that cuts and moves and screens a lot. You've got to bump the person that doesn't have the ball and not allow them into free space.
Saul hits the first one. Second one up. In and out, no good. LaRue the rebound. 25-20, Alma. LaRue out for Sass. Inside to Werner. Werner going to work on Hannah Saul. Gets a little space for herself, and they're going to say she traveled with it before the bucket.
I thought they were going to call her on the off arm, kind of use
I did too.
Left arm to
I thought that's what they had called. Lydia Saul in, Hannah Saul out. To big kudos from Coach Christner. He liked what he saw out there.
Yeah, he should. His team's fighting tough right now. And
LaRue up top. Lydia Saul leaves it off. Uyghurs backs down. Comes back out on Sass. Left side, Merrill. Merrill to the free throw line. Out. LaRue thought about a three. Didn't take it. Goes off a Lydia Saul screen. 8 on the shot clock. Drives in. Loses it. Stolen by LaRue. Brooke back the other way for the Scots. Going to leave it Derlew. Molly going to drive in. Stops. Out. Right wing Sass. Taylor going to drive now. Looks for a backdoor cut. Doesn't find it. Goes to Derlew instead. Molly. Outside Sass. 10 on the shot clock. Sass off of a Werner screen. Going to work on Lydia Saul and has her shot rejected.
Oh, man. You saw that one coming from a mile away. She got all of that one.
Fernandez for LaRue. 4 on the shot clock for the Scots. Sass will inbound. Looking. Going to go deep for LaRue. Brooke going to have to do something quickly. 3 on the clock. 2. Derlew triggers a 3 off the window. Shot clock violation.
And that's the issue that we've seen with the Scots. With Maddie Robbins on the bench right now, outside of Taylor Sass, they don't have anybody that consistently wants to put it on the floor and get to the rack. And Kelvin knows that. If they can keep Sass out of the lane, they'll settle for those outside jumpers from the rest of them.
Fernandez going to drive from the right wing, kicks it back. Lydia Saul cross-court missile to Uyghurs. Driving in now and scoring is Sally Merrill, excuse me.
Thought LaRue did a good job of sliding over to help, but she kept her arms down by her side.
Now a steal up top by Fernandez. She's going to go in all alone, and it's a 1-point game. 25-24.
Think about using one if I'm Alma.
Sass back the other way for the Scots. Hands to Derlew for Leslie. LaRue out on the right wing. Cross-court pass Sass. Taylor going to drive in. Gets cut off in the lane. 3 ball on the way from Leslie. That's off to the right. No good. And Saul's right there for the rebound. Fernandez the other way. Drives in. Good switch from the Scots that time. Up top, Uyghur's going to trigger a 3. That's long. No good. Rebound LaRue. LaRue will bring it back with 2:57 to go in the second quarter. Werner wanted it inside. Couldn't get it. LaRue going to drive to the left. Goes up. Has her shot blocked away by Lydia Saul.
Yeah, same play we just saw a minute ago for LaRue. She read it again perfectly, went up for it, except for Saul was there this time. And
Robbins and Weber check back in. Vanderstelt back in for the Knights. Sass with it. Finds some space, goes to the rack, goes up over Saul, counted in the foul.
I was just going to say before that, outside of a free throw, I don't know if Sass has scored in the second quarter, and right there she just takes it to the rack, says enough of this, I got to get going
so
again.
2 on Lydia Saul, 2 on Hannah Saul, and 2 on Ryan Rohrer. The Knights bigs are playing well defensively in this game, but they're picking up the fouls as well. Cleveland checks back in. Leslie sits down. Sass's foul shot up and good. Make it 28-24, Alma. Sass with 15 in the first half. Scots dial up that pressure again, causes a little bit of trouble, but Fernandez will break it. Now the Scots trap her again, and she throws it out of bounds. They're going to say tipped out of bounds, and Coach Stormont didn't like that one. I can see why. And as soon as that press comes back on, Ryan Rohrer gets up off the bench. Lydia Saul will sit down. And Dirksey will have to inbound from in front of the Scots bench. Goes to Wiegers. Wiegers drives left Fernandez. Looks inside for Rohrer. Has Rohrer inside. Back out for Dirksey. Outside. Mid-range jumper filled up by Vanderstelt. She's hit a couple of those. Vanderstelt having a fine game.
Yeah, I said a little bit ago, she's done some really nice things offensively. She's got a nice jumper.
Now she's got 6 in this one. Vanderstelt averaging just over 2 per game. Sass with it. Her team leading by 2. Gonna drive in. Tries to get a little space. Goes off the window and scores. And Dirksey couldn't guard Sass right there.
Oh, that was a good move. The spin move initially, but then to get balance and kind of hit a fadeaway there.
Rohrer with it. Kick out. Vanderstelt again. Got it again. 8 for Vanderstelt.
She's got to be 4 for 4.
Yeah.
I don't think she's missed.
Robbins back for the Scots for Cleveland, and that was out of the reach of Taylor, and it's going to go out of bounds. 30-28. Alma on top here, minute 30 to go in a highly competitive basketball game. Yeah, Vanderstelt, 7 minutes played, 4 for 4 from the floor for 8 points.
Yeah, that's one that kills you if you're out.
It is.
I mean, somebody coming in averaging 2, and they've got 8 already.
Rohrer drives to the left, up off the high glass, counted in the foul.
Because when she's got 8 going and Rohrer goes in and does her normal damage, that's when things start getting out of hand.
Lydia Saul hops up off the bench. I'm sure she'll come in for the shooter.
Alma has cooled significantly here in the second quarter, but again, we talked about it before the game, when their intensity is high and they're diving on loose balls and getting every rebound, they're a tough team to beat.
Rohrer hits the foul shot, and Calvin's got their first lead of the night at 31-30. Ryan sits down, Lydia Saul back in.
Yeah, almost got to find a way here to channel this the last minute 15 of the half and get things going into the half.
Yeah, very important to end the half strong here. Sass for Robbins. Back to Sass. Got Lydia Saul on her. Going to take her to the rack. And there's going to be a foul away from the play. Called on Wiegers. Oh, nope, it's called on the floor on Lydia Saul. That's 3 on Lydia. That's going to get Sophie Sensening back up off the bench. Cleveland to inbound for the Scots. Finds LaRue. LaRue back to Cleveland. Taylor going to drive baseline. Out for Robbins. Extra pass. Open 3. Sass way off to the left. And Cleveland had the rebound tapped away from her. And here come the Knights back the other way.
Cleveland just way undersized there.
Yes.
Nothing she could do about that rebound.
Wiegers with it. They're going to slow it up with 40 on the game clock, 20 on the shot. Chloe Wiegers works on Cleveland. Goes off for Fernandez. Fernandez going to drive, has her pass tipped high up into the air. Now it comes to Sensening, driving into her right, up off the glass, no. And the rebound up over the top goes Dirksey. Little layup up and good from Vanderstelt, who's got 10. 33-30.
She caught that at the free throw line. Kind of thought about pulling up right there, but
10 seconds for the Scots here.
Got to get a bucket here.
Robbins drives in, beats her man to the bucket, and Maddie Robbins lays it in. That'll do it for the first half. We got ourselves a ball game here, 33-32 Calvin at halftime up on the Alma Scots. And this is going to be a close one all the way to the finish, I suspect. We'll pause here for a little bit, and we'll be back with the Pizza One halftime report. Score at halftime, Calvin 33, Alma 32. Welcome back to Art Smith Arena. Welcome into the Pizza One halftime report. 33-32. Calvin on top of the Alma Scots at halftime. And it was a tale of two quarters as the offenses were the kind of the story of the first quarter, particularly the Alma offenses. They outscored Calvin 22-15. The Knights come back and outscored the Scots 18-10 in the second quarter. Scots not breaking double figures until the Robbins last second layup there. Alma led by 18 points in the first half from Taylor Sass, 7 from Brooke LaRue, 3 from Robbins, and then 2 apiece from Reagan Thor and Maddie Weber over on the Calvin side of the ledger. The story is really Lauren Vanderstelt, Craig, who is a player who's played in 18 of the 20 games so far this season and averaging just 2.2 points per game, 15 of 50 from the floor. Make it 5 for 5 tonight with 10 points.
Yeah, she's kind of killed the Scots a little bit of a silent killer, really. I mean,
yeah.
not doing anything flashy, just in the right spot at the right time for an open shot. She took one to the rim, but the other 4 were kind of outside jumpers that she really had no doubt about when she let go.
No, not at all. I mean, she's looked phenomenal in this one. 6 apiece for Ryan Rohrer and Anna Fernandez. 2 from Valerie Dirksey. Also 2 points from Chloe Wiegers. 2 from Sally Merrill. And then the Sauls, Lydia with 2, Hannah with 3 for the Knights. And, taking a look at some of those team stats, the two teams both shooting it a little bit above their season average. Calvin at 48.3%, shooting it on the night. That's well above their 39.7 average on the season. And then Alma, who averages 38.9% from the floor, is at 46.2% so far on the evening. Look at the rebounding numbers, and that's where Calvin has the advantage, Craig. 15-9 over the Scots, and it's been all those 6'1" players. The Sauls going in there.
I was going to say, across the board, they're just bigger and should be getting those rebounds. But Alma's got to do a little bit better job of boxing out. You talk about the field goal percentage, and Alma shot really well in the first quarter.
They did.
Not very good in the second quarter, and it kind of balances out to that 46% or whatever you said. But Alma, 12-point difference from first quarter to second quarter. And
that's big.
That's the story. I mean, they just didn't shoot it as well. You look at the turnovers and rebounds, everything was pretty consistent.
Scots are going to need to cut the turnovers down a little bit. 9 turnovers in that first half.
It just felt like their energy kind of dipped, and maybe that was just they weren't hitting as many shots, and so it wasn't as loud. But they've got to find a little bit of a better start here in the second half and get things going again, because when they kind of had Calvin on the ropes there in the first quarter. But and again, if you think that they're just going to lay down and let Alma run away with it, that's never going to happen.
I mean, obviously this is an excellent Knights team. 14-6 overall, 8-3 in the league, and tied for second in conference play. They've got everything to play for.
Oh, absolutely.
Calvin will get the ball to start the third quarter. Starters out there for both teams. Sammy DeKuyper with it at the point for the Knights. She split time pretty evenly with Wiegers. Rohrer is going to get it on the right block to start things off. Goes up off the high glass and scores. And that's a nice set play out of the break from Calvin.
They drew that one up on the whiteboard right before they walked out of the locker room.
Scots will hand it to Derlew. Moves to her right. Stops. Kick out Werner. Werner cross court LaRue. Tries to drive, spins to her left, runs out of real estate, goes cross court to Robbins, 10 on the shot clock, and Maddie's going to travel with it.
Shuffled the pivot foot just a little bit.
A lot of turnovers here for the Scots tonight. Alma will press and look to trap. They get it across easily with Fernandez. Now it's a 2-on-1, and Rohrer just inexplicably doesn't take the layup. Fernandez tries to go up with one, gets fouled by Werner, and not sure what Rohrer was doing there.
Well, I think Brecken Werner kicked that ball, that pass that went in front of her. I thought I saw a kick. I thought they were going to whistle it dead, and Rohrer kind of came out to catch it a little bit, and I think she was just thrown off a little bit.
So Fernandez to the line for 2. Had 6 points in the first half. Fills up the second one. Largest lead of the night for Calvin at 4. And now make it 5 as Hernandez hits both. Fernandez, excuse me. And Alma facing a bit of adversity here, down by 5. Robbins with it for Derlew. Molly been quiet so far, scoreless. Hasn't even taken a shot in her 13 minutes. Sass back to Derlew. Derlew going to set a play. Just 9 on the shot clock. Goes off a Warner screen. Tries to go to the bucket. Puts it up. No. And the rebound comes away to DeKuyper. Not a good look there for the Scots at all.
Now ball's just sticking in one spot too long. It was that way last
DeKuyper off
quarter.
of a Rohrer screen. Rohrer, little free throw line jumper. Got it. Scots might think about a timeout here now, trailing by 7. It's been all Calvin to start the second half, a 6-0 run.
Got to get more motion going in the offense right now.
Warner with it up top. Hands it to Sass. Sass drives to the free throw line. Gets down into the circle. Left-handed hook shot is good for Sass. She's got 20. Fernandez breaks the pressure. Derlew steals it away and saves it out to LaRue. LaRue finds it cutting Robbins. Robbins out. Derlew thought about a 3, going to drive instead. Kick out Sass. Sass drives to the free throw line, goes to the left hand again, has it blocked from behind, out of bounds. Nice play that time by Dirksey.
Blocked viciously.
It was. Weber and Thor check in. Werner and Derlew sit down.
I thought Derlew caught that on the wing and drove it down in there. I thought she was going to go up with it.
I did too.
Instead, kicked it all the way across to Sass.
Scots get it into Weber for an easy layup, and she missed it. Oh, no. Weber with a wide open layup that she couldn't get to go. Out on the wing is Fernandez. Leaves it back off Rohrer from the elbow. Again, that one's way off after she had been so good. Sass the rebound. Leaves it left wing. Thor up top. Oh, Sass had an open 3, but it was tipped away. Couldn't get it to her. Robbins in the lane. Stops. Gets her defender up in the air and scores. Ball hung on the rim tantalizingly long. But the Scots back within 3.
Got the home court roll there. That
yes,
thing
she did.
Should have come back out.
5 for Robbins in the corner. With it is LaRue. Rohrer inside. Putting it on the floor. One dribble up and no good, but a rebound from Dirksey. That first effort, I'm not sure what it was.
She had good position. I don't think she needed to put it on the floor.
No.
Still able to come away with a bucket.
Sass going to drive, free throw line, get to the rack, put it up from an awkward angle. No, she grabs her own rebound, fights it up, and they're going to call a jump ball. Oh, man. Possession will stay with Alma. Sass trying to fight that ball up to the bucket. Hannah Saul checks in. Chloe Wiegers as well. Timeout called by the Scots. It's a 30-second timeout, so we're going to take it right along with them back after this. .36 Calvin on top of the Alma Scots here, 6:52 to go. In the third quarter, Scots will have the basketball inbounding under their own basket. Robbins looks to get it in, and they're going to turn it over. That was an ugly inbound play right there. She threw it down at the feet of LaRue.
Just a wasted timeout there if you're Alma.
It was,
just
completely.
Don't execute it.
Wiegers goes inside for Rohrer. Rohrer, a quick spin on LaRue, cut off. Out, Hannah Saul might have traveled with it. Goes with a lefty hook shot. No, Weber the rebound.
Sky hook.
It was a sky hook, which at 6'1" with extremely long arms looks like a little something. Robbins empty at the other end. Saul the rebound. Wiegers bounce past Fernandez. Loses it out of bounds. A turnover. Calvin a little too quick that time, and Derlew's going to check in for Robbins.
Sloppy play on both sides right now coming out of the halftime break. If I'm Alma, I've got to get something going here right now. Our only offense so far is just to give it to Sass.
They've watched Taylor Sass play offense so far, and that's been about it.
Got to get more movement on the backside especially. Get somebody else going.
Will run the point now for the Scots. Weber with it. Weber goes off of a LaRue screen, going to try to get to the bucket. Can't do it. Goes out for Thor. Thor to Derlew. Weber,
just
9 on the shot clock. Goes backdoor cut for Sass. She'll get fouled. It's a nice pass from Maddie Weber. And Sass to the line for 2.
I did. It's a good pass, good backdoor cut.
Late in the shot clock, though, after not a lot had happened.
They just get all 5 of them out around that perimeter, and it's good, and it has good moments of being able to get buckets, but you've got to get something else going. Get some more movement, because right now you've got 4 standing and watching, and 1 person just kind of doing it all.
Sass hits the first foul shot. Makes it 41-37. The second makes it 41-38 on a 22-point night from number 22.
Alma with just 2 3-pointers tonight. You haven't proven that you can hit anything tonight.
Right, that's rare.
As a defense, it's real easy to take away that 1 person driving the lane.
Mid-range jumper is way too long, but Saul grabs the rebound, nearly turned it over. It comes away to who else but Vanderstelt.
6 for 6.
6 for 6 for Vanderstelt. 43-38 Knights. LaRue with it. Rohrer on her. Up top, Weber. Hands it to Thor. Reagan going to drive in, gets to the bucket, goes to the left hand and scores. Good burst from Reagan Thor.
Yeah, a little bit more movement there, and Reagan able to put it on the deck.
43-40. Wiegers to Rohrer. Vanderstelt. You worry she'd just shoot it from there. Rohrer from the free throw line. Fills it up. Ryan Rohrer.
Rattles at home.
She did rattle at home. Sass back for the Scots, trailing by 5. The team's trading 2-point buckets right now. Weber with it. Weber has it poked out of there and stolen away by LaRue. LaRue all the way in, goes up, under, and way too strong. Ooh, that was pretty until the shot attempt.
That's a good effort by LaRue to get back. And
Brooke LaRue got back
it.
on Caitlin LaRue, you're right. Sass to Derlew. Derlew's got to clear out if she wants it. Gonna hit a cutting Thor instead, who gets fouled by Vanderstelt. She'll shoot 2. Scott starting to use the speed of Reagan Thor a little bit here.
Yeah, we've seen Reagan do that time and time again. She's always kind of the energizer bunny for this Scots team, whether it's defensively or offensively. Whatever they need, she comes in and gives that spark.
Thor to the line, about a 70% foul shooter on the season. Werner and Robbins check back in. Thor's first one up and long. Second one rattles home, and it's a 4-point game, 45-41 Knights. Fernandez to Dirksey, leaves it for Vanderstelt. Fernandez. Hannah Saul, 1 dribble, and she's going to get fouled hard by LaRue. Brooke got beat off the dribble there and had to come back and foul her. Saul, a 54.3% foul shooter, split a pair earlier in the game. She's got 3 points. First shot up and long, which is just exactly what she did the first trip to the line.
Consistency, right?
We'll see if she drills the second one. Very consistent, yes. 46-41 Knights. Derlew with it to Thor. Left wing. LaRue drives in. Right-handed hook shot, no. Werner tried to grab the rebound, and getting it out of there and being fouled is Hannah Saul. Derlew will pick up the foul.
LaRue picking up the foul, not Derlew.
Oh, LaRue picks up the foul, okay. Sass checks in. Fouls the second on LaRue. DeKuyper back in there. Goes for Rohrer. Rohrer's trapped. She's in some trouble. Gets it back out to Fernandez. DeKuyper with it. Into the corner for Vanderstelt. Vanderstelt's got a mismatch, got Robbins on her. DeKuyper with 5 on the shot clock. Spins around, has her shot blocked by Werner. Sass with it now. Sass gonna go coast to coast, stops, kicks it out. Robbins thought about a 3, didn't take it. Gonna drive in instead. Leaves it off for Werner, but down at her feet again. The passes from Robbins have been at the feet here the last couple of
haven't been crisp
possessions. Vanderstelt with it. Leave it out, Fernandez. Fernandez to Rohrer. Ryan going to be fouled on the floor, which, that was an early foul call. It'll be on Werner. Weber will check in for her. It's the 3rd on Werner. Vanderstelt sits down. Merrill comes back. DeKuyper to inbound, goes in quickly to Fernandez. Surveys the landscape, finds a cutting Merrill. Outside 3 ball on the way. DeKuyper, long. Fernandez gets the long rebound off the air ball.
Gotta have that rebound if you're Alma.
Rohrer back to DeKuyper, gonna try another one. This one's good.
And that's why you've got to have that rebound. There was a long air ball off the weak side, and Alma had nobody over there to even touch it.
Knights by 8 now, starting to stretch it out. Weber leaves it for Sass. Sass going to drive in, gets double teamed, kick out Derlew, corner 3, long, and the rebound uncontested to Dirksey.
That would have been huge if it would have went for the Scots. They've just got nothing working offensively right now.
Fernandez with it. Merrill out on the left wing. Leaves it to Kuiper. Rohrer, hands back to Kuiper. Wants another 3 straight on. No good. And another rebound. There's nobody around for the Scots rebounding. Fernandez puts it on the floor for Rohrer. Rohrer. De Kuiper wants another 3. That one's no good. Fernandez again, blocked by Thor. Alma has nobody in a rebounding position right now.
No, just not getting good position defensively or on the rebound.
Jump ball possession arrow favors Calvin. Hannesall checks back in. Dirksey sits down. LaRue back for the Scots. Alma just cannot get a rebound right now. Into Hannesall.
They're out of position.
Drives
right
left.
now.
Back to her right. Back to her left. Back to her right. Leaves it off for Merrill. Lays it in. Calvin by 10. And Sammy Stormont says it's got to be a travel.
Yeah, I thought it was. I thought she dragged that pivot foot for sure.
Robbins goes to her right, stops, leaves it. Weber out for Sass. Sass going to drive baseline, puts it up, has her shot blocked. Weber with it now, gets it back out to Sass, and a timeout called by Coach Stormont from the sideline. It's a 30-second timeout. Her team trails by 10 back after this. .106 to go, third quarter. All Calvin right now. They lead it 51-41. The Knights outscoring Alma by 9 here in this third quarter. And Alma's offense has just gone cold after that 22-point first quarter.
A little question on where the ball's at.
Yeah.
Stormont thinks it should be underneath. They've got
Well,
it
that's
over
what
here
I
on the
thought
sideline.
too.
I thought it was underneath as well. Get a little bit of an explanation here, but that's frustrating because if you drew up something for underneath the basket. Now
Yeah, they called a timeout right down on the baseline. That's a pretty poor job by our officiating crew here. I mean, it was very clearly right down on the baseline when they called a timeout.
They're all looking around clueless as can be. So.
And Saul gets a block at the other end.
That's twice now in a row. I almost called a timeout and just got nothing out of it.
First time it was their own fault.
Yeah,
this time it was the referee's
fault.
fault.
Frustrating for sure. Especially inside the last minute here in the third quarter.
Inside, Saul puts it up, no. And the rebound comes away to Sass, and she's fouled. And all that is a makeup call to say we know we didn't have a clue on that inbounding spot.
They did. Not a single one of them.
There was no foul committed there. Sally Merrill
but that's
gets the bad end of the stick.
That's a big rebound for the Scots.
It was.
It's the first time in a while that they've limited Kelvin to just one shot.
And Robbins turns it over at the other end.
Alma just forcing things right now, it feels like.
Merrill, long jumper, no. LaRue the rebound. Good position from Brooke right there. Elma's got to have a bucket here to end the quarter.
First quarter, they played so free, and here in the second half, it just feels like they're forcing things too much.
Yeah, you're right. I think some of that's got to do with the defense of Calvin, but uncharacteristic from the Scots. Weber drives with 7 on the shot clock, drives all the way in, swings it out. Derlew for 3, no. Rebound fought for. Robbins goes flying. A shot goes up. It wouldn't have counted. So at the end of the third quarter, our score, Calvin 51, Alma 41. We will be back for the fourth after this. Welcome back to the Arch Smith Arena. 51-41 Calvin on top of the Alma Scots. Scots are going to have to mount a comeback here in the fourth quarter if they want to get away with a victory here. Tough middle part of this ball game so far for the Scots after a really good first quarter.
Yeah, the biggest thing right now, Calvin just winning those second chance points. We talked about it the last, 3 out of the last 4 possessions for Kelvin. They got multiple shots and were able to get points off them. They've got 16 second chance points right now. Elma just 3. And Elma's shooting percentage has gone down drastically every quarter.
Yeah.
They shot 57 in the first quarter, 33 in the second quarter. In the third quarter, just 23%, 3 of 13.
Scots are having a hard time getting the rebounds. They're missing Izzy Alston for sure. They just don't have the size to get the boards against this Calvin team. LaRue out on the wing, going to drive in. Looks for a cutter, and that's just a straight-up turnover. Scots are turning it over nearly every possession now. Trying to force things. Wiegers. Fernandez with it. Back up top, Rohrer. Out on the wing, Wiegers. Wiegers finds Fernandez, cutting to the basket. Goes all the way around, leaves it off. Hannah Saul, free throw line jumper. That's off to the left. Fernandez, the rebound up. No. Derlew, the rebound for Alma. And now it's time they need that offense.
Yeah, you can't wait around here. You got to get going to the rack.
They need one of those quarters where Sass goes nuts. There's Taylor to the rack, puts it up and scores. 24 for Sass.
They're going to dial the pressure back up.
Scots within 8.
That was the key in the first quarter.
It was.
But you can't dial it up unless you score.
No. Wiegers breaks the press for LaRue. Back to Rohrer. Out for Fernandez. Fernandez, mid-range jumper. No. Long rebound. Comes out to the Knights. Rohrer with it. Going to drive on LaRue. Kick out. 3 ball on the way from LaRue. Short. Another long rebound. This one comes to Saul. Third chance. Up. Good.
That's the difference
Wiegers.
Right there.
Alma can't rebound the basketball.
No. 2, 3, 4, 5 shots every time Kelvin has the ball, and that's just a backbreaker. You've got to get a body on a body and box somebody out.
Yeah, if you're not tall enough, you got to make your own room. Derlew with it out on the wing. Going to drive in, got some space, gets to the bucket, gets fouled. She'll go to the line for 2. Molly Derlew, an extremely quiet night, scoreless so far, is Derlew.
She's had a couple of those corner threes late in the third quarter that I thought the second one was going to go for sure, but neither of them able to shake free.
About 8 points per game for Derlew. She'll shoot 2 here. First one up and long.
Like I said, Alma just hasn't been able to get anybody really going outside of Taylor Sass.
Right, they usually have that second player that's cooking and haven't been able to do it, whether it's Derlew or LaRue. Derlew misses both. LaRue battles for the rebound. It's going to be a jump ball. And now a technical foul is going to be called, maybe a double technical, between Dirksey and LaRue.
There was a lot of extra there for sure. I'm not entirely sure who he called it on. Maybe
he pointed at both of them. He pointed with both hands, so it should be a double technical.
Both just going for the ball and then kind of rolling over and getting caught up in some extra stuff. If something was said or if there was, my view was kind of blocked by some players there, but.
They're going to take a long time to sort this one out. They're really riding the struggle bus recently.
Still not sure.
Boy, oh boy. This is embarrassing.
No matter what way they call it, they're going to call it just on Kelvin, I think. Nope.
No, it'll be on both of them.
I'm going to say, either way you call it here, you're going to have somebody upset, I think.
Yep. So they're going to say it's a jump ball and the possession's going to favor Calvin.
Calvin's bench is sure that it was not on them.
Well, it was definitely on them.
Yes.
But I think that they've gotten LaRue as well. And we await official word. Still talking it over. So pretty easily, Dirksey and LaRue get called for technicals. It's a jump ball.
Yeah.
Just like I said
after all
3 minutes ago.
Right. Offset each
Scots
other.
will press. They've got the trap set pretty well in the corner. Falling down out of bounds, and the Scots create the turnover.
And no other than Brooke LaRue right there.
Yep. That foul would have been the fourth on LaRue, too, I believe.
Yeah, third or fourth. I'm not sure.
They've got it listed as only 3 on the live stats.
Yeah, I think
they get it into LaRue for 3, long. Robbins the rebound, and she's fouled on the floor by DeKuyper.
Kind of got undercut a little bit going up for her. I think she was getting boxed out a little bit.
And that sequence of events has awoken the Scots.
As it should. I mean, 10 points is nothing with 8 minutes left in this game. They're not out of it.
No, not by a long shot. They get it into Thor out on the right wing. Goes off 2 screens, get it out for Sass. And an offensive foul is going to be called down low.
Yeah, they're going to call it on
Warner?
Yes. Moving screen or...
Man.
I don't know. All of a sudden it's awoken their whistles as well.
Yeah.
As we've had whistle after whistle here.
That's got to be a travel. Kelvin has it stolen by Sass. Out for LaRue. LaRue drives, kick out Sass. 3 ball on the way. In and out. No good. Rebound comes away to the Knights, who are going to look to get it out of there with DeKuyper. Goes behind the back. Being hounded. Gets it across the timeline. And what a joke.
She got called. She put her hands up in the air.
I don't think she hit anybody.
No, she didn't, but the way she reacted got that whistle, I think.
Fouls on Sass, her second.
She put her hands up like, I didn't do it, and if she had not done that, I think he probably would have let it go.
I think so.
But I think that triggered him to call that.
Rohrer leaves it off Fernandez. Fernandez caught in the paint, going to leave it out for DeKuyper. DeKuyper, step back. Rohrer from the free throw line. Gets it inside. A nice pass. And fouled down there is Dirksey.
See, Alma's got to step out on Rohrer. She caught that at the high post right there. You've got to get a hand up in her face. Made it way too easy to see that passing lane.
That's 4 on LaRue. We'll go over to the scorer's table again. They're going to switch the foul on to Sass, her third. Dirksey will shoot 2. First one up and good for Valerie Dirksey. She's a 71.4% free throw shooter on the season. Second one, also good. Calvin by 12, their biggest lead. Robbins back for the Scots, and they need instant offense. Thor swing it to LaRue. LaRue moves to the right. Thor with it now for Weber. Weber leaves it to Robbins. Robbins in the lane. She's stuck in there, and she's traveled with it. That's the 6th turnover of the night for Maddie Robbins, which is unheard of.
Yeah, you just don't see that. Just got in there a little too far and didn't have anywhere to go. The defense collapsed down on her, and those tall defenders, long arms.
Derlew checks in. Calvin breaks the press beautifully. Here comes DeKuyper. Into the corner. 3 ball on the way from LaRue. Long. Rebound tapped around, and it's got to the Knights with Dirksey. Rohrer with it. She travels. She can't believe it.
That's been about the 12th travel in that same scenario we've seen tonight.
And they've called it every time.
Yeah. Not on her, of course, but just in general. They've called it all night.
Scots get it in, trailing by 12, 6:25 to go. Weber with it up top, Rohrer on her. Out for Sass on the wing, going to try to drive on Dirksey. Gets all the way to the bucket, puts it up, counted in the foul. 26 for Sass.
Just was about to say that Alma was much more the physical team in the first half, and Calvin has been more physical here in the second, but Taylor Sass says, watch this.
Sass's foul shot in and out, no good. LaRue came around, tried to grab the rebound, but it goes out of bounds, and the Scots will set up the press. Dirksey to inbound. Gets it into Kuiper. DeKuyper goes cross court. Fernandez fouled by Thor. That's going to be the 5th team foul on Alma. So Fernandez is going to go to the line for 2. Foul is the 3rd on Thor. Anna Fernandez has been great from the line so far. 4 for 4 on an 8-point night. We told you we thought Fernandez would be up around 10 or 12, and there's point number 9 right there. Calvin by 11. Second one up, also good. The Knights match their largest lead at 12. 6:10 to go now. Sass back for the Scots. For Derlew, Thor with it. LaRue now. LaRue just gets bumped hard up top by Caitlin LaRue, and she'll go to the line for 2. I have no idea what Caitlin LaRue was trying to do there.
I don't know. That was way out there defensively.
Going to send Brooke LaRue to the line for a couple of freebies. Hannah Saul checks back in. Dirks sits down. Foul shot up and good for LaRue. Give her 8 points on the night. Scott's cut the lead down to 11. Second one for LaRue, also good. Timeout called from Coach Stormont on the sidelines. It is a full timeout. We'll take it along with him. Back to the Art Smith Arena after this. It'll be Calvin basketball out of the timeout. They lead it by 10, 57-47. LaRue, Sass, Durlew, Weber, and Thor for the Scots. Calvin gonna throw a bomb down and just able to get it. And now a nice pass across to Fernandez, counted in the foul. Oh, that was a nice dish from LaRue to Fernandez.
Just a backbreaker if you're the Scots. I mean, you got beat deep, able to recover, and then the last second pass off and a foul.
Foul's the fourth on Sass. She's going to have to sit down. Probably not for long.
No, can't afford to.
Fernandez will look to make it a three-point play. The pass from LaRue to Fernandez was fantastic. She does get the three-pointer, 60-47 Knights. Robbins picked up the dribble. Goes to Thor, out. LaRue had to fight to get possession. Gonna drive in now, tried to go cross court. Gets drilled out of bounds by Hannah Saul, no call. It'll stay with Alma. Lydia, oh, that's not Lydia Saul, that is Dirks back up off the bench. Along with Wiegers. Robbins looks to get it in, gets it to LaRue. LaRue calls out a play with 10 on the shot clock. Goes off of a Weber screen. Durlew with it, 6 on the shot clock. Inside Weber. Out for Thor. It's going to be tapped out of bounds with 1 second on the shot clock. And the Scots will do well to get any look from over here in the corner.
I was going to say, good luck from there.
Yeah, that's not going to be easy. That's a terrible spot. They get it to Weber. She's going to heave one up towards the basket. Can't do anything with that.
About as good as you could have done, though.
I mean, that's the most awkward spot to have to inbound from to begin with, and then with 1 on the shot clock. Whew.
Weber did a good job. Just kind of threw a missile at it.
She did throw a missile at it. Wiegers with it for the Knights.
Almost got to pick up the pressure.
They do.
Sagging too far off here, down by 13.
Dirks out for LaRue. LaRue leaves it off. Wiegers inside. That's no good. Robbins back the other way for the Scots in traffic. Leaves it for Durlew. Durlew drives in, blocked away by Dirks, and she had Maddie Weber wide open for a three. Rohrer checks back in. Saul will sit down. Weber sits down for the Scots. Werner checks in. Scott's trying to get it in. They finally do get it in up top to Werner. Hands to Robbins. Robbins off a Werner screen. Back up top for Brecken. Derlew with 14 on the shot clock. Derlew gets all the way to the rack and lays it in. Nice play by Molly Derlew.
Yeah, defender just kind of let her go. Nobody picked her up.
No help defense there from the Knights.
Easy as it gets there.
On a night where the defense has been strong. Uyghurs inside Rohrer. Has it just taken out of her hands by Robbins. Here comes Maddie, going to slow things down. Looks for something in transition to Derlew. Back to Robbins. Robbins calls out a play. And LaRue has it go off her hip. She didn't realize she could get back to it. Then she finally did. And she'll maintain the possession. Hands to Thor. 10 on the shot clock. She's going to go to the bucket. She's going to get all the way there. Put it up. No, but she's fouled. Foul's going to be called on Anna Fernandez. Transfer from Wheaton. DeKuyper checks back in. Foul shot by Thor, just off to the left, no good. Stays 60-49 with 3:46 to go. Sass back to the scorers table for Alma. Second one good from Thor, and they don't see the sub, but now here comes Sass. And Knights will look to trigger it in here against the Alma pressure. They get it in pretty easily to DeKuyper. Now DeKuyper picks up the dribble, though. Lobs one to Fernandez, and they get it across just barely, but now they've got numbers. Bounce pass across the lane. Rohrer, she's fouled by Derlew. Ryan will go to the line for two.
Alma just about got a turnover.
Very close there.
Instead, Kelvin will head to the line for some freebies.
Now Rohrer, not a great foul shooter. She is 2 for 3 so far tonight. Has 12 points. First foul shot up and long.
Almost still within striking distance. They're going to need some help here. Kelvin at the line down the stretch.
Fernandez with 13, Rohrer with 12, and Vanderstelt with the unexpected 12. Second one good from Ryan. 61-50.
She's got to trade
Robbins
2 for 1 here. 2 for 1.
For Sass. Sass gets it back out to Robbins, looks inside, finds Werner open inside. Brecken's got to just make a move with a basketball. Instead, she gets tied up. Brecken usually makes a real good move there.
Thought about it too much.
Lost the ball. Fernandez with it. She'll milk the shot clock.
Problem was, I think she wanted to go up with the left, and the defender was on the left.
Yeah.
She was too far under to go back with her right.
LaRue. Swing it left side to DeKuyper.
Got to tighten up.
DeKuyper going to drive into the free throw line. Rohrer with 5 on the clock. Drives in, loses the ball. Kick out 3 is long, and Sass is the only one there for the rebound. They use all the shot clock, but don't get a bucket. Sass is going to go coast to coast. Puts up a high shot that doesn't go, and Dirk's going to be called for a foul that she doesn't like, and fans want her teed up, and she would be out if she got a technical there.
Yeah, Kelvin able to use that whole shot clock, and that's what you can't have if you're Alma. You're working against the clock right now. You can't just give them,
I think.
Especially when they keep getting offensive rebounds.
Right. First foul shot good from Sass. Makes it a 10-point game. Second one also good.
Now you're right there. The 3-possession game. Under 3 minutes to go. You got to really tighten up.
Rohrer breaks the press for the Knights. Gets it to Dirks. Over. And now coming back out is DeKuyper.
Very clearly just working the clock.
Yes,
they had 2 open layups there, and they pulled it back completely. Almost got to recognize that.
Inside Rohrer. And nearly turning it over, but then DeKuyper corralled it and finds Dirks wide open for a layup.
Almost shifted to help, but too many shifted over.
Yeah. Robbins outside for Derlew. Derlew drives, tried to leave it for Werner. It's kicked out of bounds by Rohrer.
And Kelvin had gotten down inside 10 seconds with that shot clock, too. That's the last thing you can do is let him milk clock and get a bucket out of it.
Scott's really bailed him out there. Rohrer sits down, as does DeKuyper. Wiegers and Saul check back in. Sass driving for the Scots. Kick out. Robbins open for three. That's long. And the rebound being battled for. Sass has got it. Somebody's got a hold of her ankle, but she gets it out of there. Now inside Werner. Foul on Saul. And that's going to send Brecken to the line for two.
But did you see the defense there when Sass tried to drive in? Kelvin had three sagged right down to the low block because they knew Alma, they haven't proven anything from the outside tonight. Their only offense has come from Taylor Sass driving it in and getting a last-second shot off.
Werner to the line, just 51.4% from the line on the season. And hits the first one. Not pretty, but she hit it.
Got a kiss off the top glass there. Went back.
It's odd to see her with that low of a percentage because Brecken's a great three-point shooter.
Yeah.
Second one long, but goes in anyway. She gets them both, gives a little open-handed shrug. And
well, both of those had enough juice on them to be good from 3 points. So
yeah, well, maybe that's why she's a good three-point shooter.
Just back up and fire from three.
Scott's back within 9. Minute 48 to go. Press is broken by Wiegers. They get it down low. Rohrer doesn't want it. Dirks takes it every time. She's fouled, counted, and the foul. If you're going to foul her, you got to foul her more than that.
Yeah.
That's 5 on Werner.
Much at all.
And Valerie Dirks to the line for 2. She's got 8 points and 8 rebounds. She's got that one, a 3-point play. Kelvin back up by 12.
Now you got to hit some shots.
Yeah. Sass with it, gonna drive. Gets double teamed, out for Derlew. Good closeout on Derlew. She gets to the bucket though, a little bit too strong, and Rohrer's got the rebound. Up comes Wiegers. Leave it out for DeKuyper. DeKuyper, backdoor. Driving in is LaRue, off the window and good. Knights by 14, under a minute to play. And
this is going to be one that stings for Alma. A great opportunity to knock off a team on your home floor. And they had them. They had them on the ropes there for a while in the first half and just kind of let this one slip away.
Sass going to drive, spins, gets tripped up. She'll go to the line for 2.
Regardless, this game should be a lot closer than the 14 points it's at right now.
Well, like you said, Alma just didn't get the contribution from elsewhere like they usually do and didn't get the outside shooting at all. And they struggled to rebound the basketball. That's the big story.
That's a big one. You know, this Kelvin team is taller and longer than probably a lot of people that they play, but they're also a lot faster. That's been the big thing with Alma tonight is they just haven't been able to keep up all 4 quarters with this Kelvin squad.
Sass splits the pair. She's got 29, and LaRue's going to get called for a foul on the rebound. And the Scots are going to empty out the bench. Cleveland, Leslie, Kaminsky, Carrie Miller, and McKenna Weber. Sally Merrill will check in for the Knights, along with Lydia Saul. Both foul shots good from Hannesall. 70-55. This one's going to look like it was a much bigger blowout than what it was.
Saying. Yeah, it was much closer than what it's going to end
Weber.
up being.
Leslie's going to turn it over to Vanderstel. Shot clock off, and the Knights can just run this one out. This one's going to hurt a little bit for the Scots.
Yeah, one that you had a great opportunity, and you had them right in that first half, and came out the second half and just didn't execute. Both ends of the floor, I felt Alma played a little sloppy, a little careless
certainly.
on both ends. And
certainly so.
You look at the live stats, they're pretty much even across the board. Calvin had more second chance points and a lot more bench points, which doesn't surprise you a whole lot. Alma doesn't go super deep, but I think it's 26-8 on bench points.
That's crazy.
That's a big difference.
70-55, our final. We will take a timeout, send it back to the studio for a little bit, and we will be back about 5 minutes prior to the start of the men's game. Once again, your final score, Calvin 70, Alma 55.